What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's dive into Smackdown from April the 19th, 2024. A pretty solid show. Before we get into the review, we have a little bit of news and note to go over real quick. WWE during Smackdown released Jinder Mahal and Xia Li. It sucks that they're both gone. I actually thought that both of them were going to be heading back down to NXT, but that didn't happen. Where do I think both of them will go? They'll probably end up going to TNA. Jinder Mahal is basically from Canada. He's from Canada, and a large portion of the TNA roster is from Canada, so he probably will end up going to TNA. I think Tony Khan is definitely going to pass both Xia Li and Jinder Mahal. Those two basically seem TNA bound. I don't see anywhere else they fit, if we're being honest. But I do think that Jinder Mahal being in TNA would be good. He looks like a pro wrestler and everything else. I think that would be good. Xia Li would do pretty well in the knockouts division. TNA has been losing a lot of their knockouts as of late. They lost Naomi and they lost Deonna Purrazzo. So they need to start bringing in more knockouts. And I do think that Xia Li would fit very well in that division. Jinder Mahal, I could definitely see him being TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He could do some good stuff in the mid-card as well. Because my main gripe with TNA has always basically been their roster. Their roster needs a complete and utter U-Haul. So hopefully Jinder Mahal and Xia Li are TNA bound. Moving on from that, let's get into the show. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night, which I was shocked by. I actually thought that was going to be the main event, AJ Styles and LA Knight, but it wasn't. So first match of the night, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. The WrestleMania rematch. It was short. AJ wins via a poke to the eyes, which was great. Followed that up by a phenomenal forearm for the 1, 2, 3. This was great. The match was short, though. I thought the match was going to be a little bit longer, but it was short. So this is fine. This makes sense. So AJ versus Cody at Backlash is fine. That's perfect. What do you do with LA Knight? I don't really know. I'm pretty sure they're still going to feud LA Knight and AJ Styles. So maybe LA Knight will cost AJ Styles the title at Backlash. So I think that would be great, and you could still continue that feud. I have no idea how they would end the feud. I don't know what type of match they could do, but it would need a stipulation. Maybe either like a steel cage or a last man standing or something of that note. But either way, I'm fine with this. This was great. AJ Styles, however, needs a brand new theme song. Because the current one he has now, it fucking sucks. Moving on. So, we head to the parking lot. So Paul Heyman, he's standing outside. Solo, he steps out of a black SUV. He's wearing a suit. So Paul Heyman tells Solo that he's looking sharp. And Tama Tonga stands behind Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman looks nervous. Solo tells Paul Heyman that Tama Tonga is his MFT. I have no idea what that means. I don't even know what that means. I don't know. I have to look that up. Look up the definition. Solo then asks Paul Heyman if Kevin Owens is in the arena. Paul Heyman tells him that he is, and Solo tells Paul Heyman to take him to Kevin Owens. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Again, Solo kind of needs to talk less. I like what they're doing with Tama Tonga. I do. But I just think that Solo needs to talk less. Paul Heyman should kind of really be orchestrating all of this, really. But it's really being orchestrated by The Rock. So this is definitely fine. I can't wait until Jacob Fatu is going to be introduced into this. Moving on. So Nick Aldis, he's out next. He brings out Triple H. So Triple H puts over WrestleMania and everything else. He said that Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis have been doing great jobs as of late. And Triple H says now it's time to introduce the new Smackdown Tag Team Champions, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. So Grayson Waller says on Monday Triple H got to award the second best championships to Awesome Truth, and tonight Triple H will honor them with their new championships. So Austin Theory says that R-Truth called Triple H a magician, but he doesn't know what kind of magic trick he has that will make them look better than they already do. Triple H then congratulates them on becoming the new tag team champions, and he introduces the WWE Tag Team Championships. So he then reveals the championships. They look really nice. They remind me of what went down in the 90s. These are basically from the 90s, but they were just modernized, which was great. So this is great. I actually like this. So then Triple H, he extends his hand to shake Waller's hand, but Grayson Waller, he just laughs. Nick Aldis tells him that if he disrespects Triple H again, he'll make Clown Under disappear. So Nick Aldis grabs their old titles and says that the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match starts now. Okay, this is fine. Again, I like this. So this led us into, well, no, my bad. Before we head into the Fatal 4-Way, Naomi, she was backstage with Kayla Braxton. So Naomi tells Kayla that she loves Bayley. Naomi helped her against Damage Control, but she won't let friendship get in the way of a championship match. It's been 2 years since she's had a singles championship match. Interesting. Oh yeah, because why? She was in TNA at that time for a little bit. She wasn't in TNA then. She didn't go into TNA until, was it late 2022? Early 2023? She was only in TNA, I think, for like a good 8-9 months, or at best 10 months. But this was a fun little, backstage promo. It was a fun little promo from Naomi. Good shit from her. Good shit. I have a hunch, though. I got a feeling that Naomi might be heading to NXT. I really do. I think she would do well in NXT. She's been on Raw several times. And I do think if she does get drafted to NXT, I think that'll be fine. I really do. moving on, so this leads us into the Fatal 4-Way match to determine the WWE Tag Team Championships, number 1 contender match or whatever. The Street Profits, New Catch Republic, Legado del Fantasma, Authors of Pain. The Street Profits, they win. It was just a really good little spot fest, basically. Dawkins damn near killed himself. I mean, not Dawkins, but Montez Ford, my bad. Montez Ford damn near killed himself. He did the tope suicide or whatever. They got everybody and everything else. So, the Street Profits, they win via the Revelation, which is great. So, they'll be taking on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller at Backlash. That's fine. That's fine. But will this turn into a feud, or will this be just a one and done type of thing? I got a feeling Austin Theory and Grayson Waller might end up being transitional champions. I don't know. It could happen. Remember, it seems like Triple H doesn't take too kind to Austin Theory. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. But that should be interesting. So post-match, Bobby Lashley and B-Fab, they come out to celebrate with the Street Profits. Moving on. So Byron Saxton, he's backstage with Bayley. Bayley tells Byron that after seeing Rhea vacate her title on Raw, it makes her appreciate it more. And Bayley is the only women's champion in WWE, but she does not take that for granted. There's one thing that's not going to change, and that's her as the WWE Women's Champion. Okay. Cool little promo. I dig it. Moving on. So, we get into some Bloodline stuff. So, we head backstage to Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. So, Paul Heyman apologizes to Solo Sikoa, telling him they can't find Kevin Owens, but they'll find him. So, Solo begins to walk out, but Paul Heyman stops him. Paul Heyman tells Solo that he's not trying to piss him off. He's the last person on the planet he wants to piss off, that being Solo. Paul Heyman tells Solo that respectfully, he's making decisions that are not his yet. These are decisions that can only be made by one man. Solo asks him if he's done. Paul Heyman asks if his MST is coming with them. So Solo then raises his thumb, and then we head down to the ring. So Paul Heyman gets on the mic. Paul Heyman introduces himself. He talks about backstage politics within the Bloodline. The fans chant, "We want Roman." Paul Heyman tells them Paul Heyman tells them that as the wise man, and then Solo, he interrupts him. So Solo gets on the mic. The fans boo him. He says last week he had to lose a brother in order to find a new one. His MFT, Tama Tonga. So, we then cut to the ramp, which was great. Kevin Owens is busted open from the side of the head by Tama Tonga, who attacks him from behind. He throws him into the ramp. So officials run down to try to break it up. Tama Tonga steps over Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is bleeding on the side of the head, which was fucking nice. That was great. That was absolutely beautifully done. Excellent stuff. So Tama Tonga then raises his hand in the ring. Solo and Paul Heyman, they raise their hands. So Owens, he runs back down to try to fight. They have a little fight scene, and then Solo and Tama Tonga beat the shit out of Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens eats a Samoan spike, and then Tama Tonga grabs a steel chair. So then Nick Aldis comes out, and he's able to make the Bloodline back off. So, Paul Heyman scared being with Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. So everyone raises their hands, and Paul Heyman does this forcefully. So this actually makes sense. I really enjoyed this segment. Kevin Owens getting his ass kicked is always great and tremendous. So I'm digging where this is going. Moving on. So we head backstage. Nick Aldis is outside with Paul Heyman. He grabs him. Nick Aldis asks Paul Heyman if he knew about this. So we see a car rammed into another car with smoke coming out. Nick Aldis tells Paul Heyman that one of those cars belongs to Kevin Owens. Paul Heyman said he didn't know about this. Nick Aldis tells him that on Smackdown, these things get resolved in the ring. And he tells Paul Heyman that losses have consequences. So that's interesting. I like what they're doing with this. I really do. I got a feeling that we might be seeing Nick Aldis being transitioned out of the GM role into a wrestling role finally. I think what may happen is maybe next week Solo and Tama Tonga are going to snap and they beat the shit out of Nick Aldis. And then from there, when Nick Aldis comes back, that transitions him into a wrestler. So I think that's what they might do. Again, Nick Aldis can still go. So that's what I hope happens. Moving on. Santos Escobar. He defeats Carlito. So this is fun. He wins via the Phantom Driver. So he beats him clean. Interesting. We'll see where this leads. Moving on. So Kayla Braxton, she's in the luxury box with Damage Control. Dakota tells Kayla that Io Sky will get her title back when she's ready. She said they're there to watch two people they can't stand tear each other apart. Dakota says that the Kabuki Warriors are still the women's tag team champions, and that won't change. So then Jade Cargill's music hits, and we see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They're in the luxury skybox next to Damage Control. Interesting. Moving on. So we get a pre-recorded promo from Cody Rhodes. He's on the UK tour at the moment. He talks about how it'll be two Georgia boys. He and AJ Styles at Backlash. He calls AJ Styles the modern excellence of execution. Nice. This is fine. Can't wait till next week because we're going to get a contract signing because Backlash is in 2 weeks. And hopefully we'll have a good little promo segment involving Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. But we'll see. Main event. Bayley versus Naomi for the WWE Women's Championship. So Tiffany Stratton comes out towards the end of the match. She gets involved. She hits Bayley with a forearm. Referee calls for the bell. And then Tiffany Stratton beats down both Bayley and Naomi. So she throws Naomi into the steel steps, staying with Bayley. She throws both of them back into the ring, and then she hits the prettiest moonsault ever, or the PME, and then she celebrates, and then that was the end of Smackdown. So this is fun. This actually makes sense. Again, I have a hunch that they're probably going to have Naomi go back down to NXT for a little while during the draft when it takes place next week. So I do think that Naomi will probably be drafted. I think she'll do well on NXT if she goes there, because Naomi's been on Raw before, and she would just get lost in the shuffle and be doing nothing. But they might put her over there. They might. I don't know. But that's just my little hunch. Smackdown was okay. It was solid. So the Bloodline stuff was actually really, really cool. Seeing Kevin Owens getting his ass kicked like that was great. Tiffany Stratton getting in the main event, getting involved in that was okay. I figured that would happen anyway, so that was a no-brainer. The Street Profits becoming the new number one contenders, that's fine. Makes sense. AJ Styles winning makes sense as well. So can't wait for him and Cody. I think that should be a good in-ring match for sure. But SmackDown was solid. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.